Watch out for the friend them where you tell her you are buying you be man, and not everything you confide in her. And not anybody pour my drink, and not anybody buy my dinner. So hard if you trust your enemy, hard if you trust your friend. Trust your friend. Me not lie, me love me family, but me not trust all of them.
Yes, guys, I know. Y'all don't even gotta say nothing. I know, guys. I know I vanished on y'all once again because my name is Adore and I like to disappear every so often. But life be lifing. I'm still gonna apologize to y'all because that is trifling of me, but sometimes life just be lifing and your girl just gotta collect her thoughts, collect her life together before she steps on camera. So as y'all can see, your girl is back and better than ever, doing much better mentally, spiritually, just feeling very myself these days, you know. So yes, guys, today I have come back on camera to give y'all a story time, because I have not done a story time in a long while. And truth said, like I said, life be lifing sometimes, and I just was not in the story time mood for a long while. Like, I was going through a transition with my life. I just felt like, you know, story times were, it was just not the vibe I was on at the time. But I do miss giving y'all stories, and I'm pretty sure you guys miss hearing stories from me. So that's why I decided to come on camera and, you know, bless y'all with a story. This story is actually a very, very, very long overdue story time. I was supposed to tell this story like probably a year ago, because it was supposed to be like a series time, and it was supposed to be the continuation of the story time I did, I believe, like I think either a year or 2 years ago. What was the title of that video? What was the title of that video? The story time was titled "My Friend Fought Me Over a Boy." I will leave the link down below, and I will have a screenshot of the video for those that haven't watched it yet. A continuation of that story, because y'all, when I posted that story, I had a few of y'all come for me in the comments about how I was a bad friend. Oh girl, you should have told her, you were wrong for that, blah 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 blah. That situation was very messy of me, and maybe I should have told her, but truth said, y'all didn't know the real tea. I think in that story time I kind of mentioned that the girl wasn't a good friend, but I never got into detail because I was planning to do a series on that situation or that little friendship. So this story time is actually a continuation of that story time. So before we get into the video, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Do not forget to turn on your post notifications so you guys are notified when your good gal posts. So do not forget to follow me on all my social medias. That will be my Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Guys, no more long talking. I'm just gonna jump straight into the video. So after that incident happened, after me and Annie, yeah, I think that's why I called her. I have to look back in my videos. I think I called her Annie in the first story time. Annie fought, had that big fight and stuff, and you know, we did our big one. I did my big one. You know, we cussed, we exchanged words, all that stuff. Friendship was over. Well, in my head at the time, I thought the friendship was over. I ended up forgiving her. Probably a few months situation. Not even a few months, honestly. It was probably like a month, because here's the thing. Basically, we lived in the same complex in townhouses. I lived in the townhouses at the time. She lived at one section of the townhouse. I lived on another section of the townhouse, but it was very close-knit. It was hard not to speak to her because I would often buck into her either when I'm coming home from school, if I'm coming home from church. Whenever I'm coming home, I would often see her. Times like she would pass by, because my townhouse was like facing the front street, so a lot of times when everybody would walk down the street, I would hear noise, I would hear everybody's voices, and obviously I recognized her voice because she was my friend. It was just hard sometimes to, you know, not speak to her. Not so much on my end, because one thing about me, I have no problem when it comes to cutting off people. My specialty. I need to put that on my resume actually. Once you do me dirty, well, now once you do me dirty, is no more for you. Like, I'm done, like it's done. But at this time I was still, you know, learning things and in my learning process when it came to friendships and all that stuff. And regardless of, you know, the stuff that she has done, we used to have a kiki. Like, we would always have fun together, laugh together. Like, she was really like my girl, or so I thought. Sometimes, but not lie, I did miss the girl, and she missed me too, because she would try her hardest to get back in contact with me even after the fight. So I believe, yeah, like a month after that big fight happened, me and her ended up talking back. Y'all, I don't know if I have to preach this in all my videos, but always listen to your parents. I've learned that as I've gotten older, that you definitely have to listen to your parents, because when your parents speak, they ain't speaking just to talk. Sometimes, yes, I know it's annoying, you don't want irritates, you want to ride for your friends, but sometimes mama knows best. And when I tell you, so many times when my mom told me to stay away from certain friendships, told me to stay away from certain people, and I didn't listen, it would always end up bad in the end. Definitely learn, and I'm still learning. Like, obviously I'm still not perfect now. Definitely learn to take mama's advice, because mama don't steer you astray, honey. I definitely learned that, especially with this situation, because my mom told me so many times, stay away from Annie, but me never stay away from Annie. I don't know, maybe the girl over me, I do not know. But long story short, we ended up talking back after the fight and everything. And you know, obviously the friendship was still not 100% like how it used to be. Normally I would never befriend a bitch that I fought. I don't know about y'all, but I usually never befriend people that I fight. Her, it was just a different story. I don't know why, but we ended up, you know, rekindling things, and you know, we were working on our friendship, or so I thought. There was these two girls in our complex. One went to the school that I was attending at the time. The other, she just lived in my complex, but I obviously knew of her. I would not call them friends, more like acquaintances, and maybe not even that, because those two bitches did not like me. Sometimes, no, actually, let me rewind that. They liked me, but they liked me on their terms. So the one that went to my school, I'm gonna call her Texas. I'm gonna call her Texas because her name was actually a state or a city in Texas. We're not gonna call her name, so I'm gonna call her Texas. So Texas actually went to the school that I was attending at the time, and the next girl, I'm gonna call her Key because that was close to her name. Texas and Key were like besties. Like they were these two light-skinned girls, like cute girls, you know. And they were like considered like the popular girls at school and outside of school. They were like the popular girls even in the neighborhood. And they were very like buddy, always together. Kind of like the mean girls because, you know, everybody really wanted to be friends with them. I honestly did not care to be friends with them because at that time I honestly felt like I was #1 most hated girl in that. I don't even know. I was the #1 most hated at the time. When it comes to my middle school years, I think that was my biggest struggle in life. Like, I went through the most ish in middle school. I don't know why, but I was really fighting for my life. Like, I had to fight against everybody in middle school. And yeah, like, people would like me, but at the same time they hated me. Like, they honestly hated me because I was just me. Like, you see what you get. Like, I'm just me. Like, sugarcoat anything. I'm gonna say what I have to say. Like, if you don't like me, then that's your business. And one thing about Texas, she was actually friends with this girl that I did not like in school. They were actually best friends. So because she was best friends with that girl, you know, me and her just, we were more so cordial. We could never be friends because, you know, she hanged out with all the people that I did not really mess with. Basically, these two girls, you know, they were considered like the popular girls in the neighborhood. It was mostly because they were light-skinned. The people in my neighborhood, in that neighborhood specifically, they were colorists. Like, they were straight out colorists. They used to always disrespect all the dark skinned girls just to put the lighter skinned girls on a pedestal. And the boys, they were just very disrespectful towards black girls in general. Because these two girls, Texas and Key, were considered like the popular girls in our neighborhood, everybody sort of wanted to kiss their ass. And that was also including Annie. Annie was one of those flip-flop type of females. Like, she would be cool one minute, and then when certain people come around, she would, you know, move ways. That also played a big part in why I said she was a fake friend. Like, that girl was never a real friend towards me, ever. But there was even an incident where when I first moved in that neighborhood, these boys in our neighborhood, I think we were all hanging out, like me, Annie, another girl, and them. We were all hanging out, and one of the boys ended up taking my phone, my cell phone, and he ran away with it. And then I basically chased after him. Like, he basically tried to force me to give him a, you know, hand job so I could get my phone back.
Kiss me, rascal. Me I tell you, wickedness can't done.
And because I did not want to do that, he tried to hold my phone hostage. When I tell you, when I really look back at my life, I really had to go through some traumatic things that I kind of just brushed off. That was a very traumatic situation. Like, I was really distraught, like, when he did not want to give me back my phone. I think I told my mom or my stepfather at the time, and they basically had to try and get the boy to give, like, they had to look for the boy for him to give me back my phone. Before, my same so-called friend, she sides with me or even tries to help me get back my phone. She actually tells the boys that my parents were looking for him and makes the boy run away. That incident was very snake of her, and from then I should have just cut her off, but I did not. So like I said, Annie was very snake-like. She would switch up when certain people would come around. When Texas and Key would come around, she would always like kiss their ass, you know, always suck up to them, treat me differently sometimes when they were around. And I would peep that a lot, and that's why a lot of times I would just, you know, distance myself from her or like just not talk to her. And that's why I said in that story time, I did not care when that boy ended up liking me. Like, yes, at first I was kind of like considerate of her feelings, and I was like, yeah, you know, I feel bad for not telling her the truth. But when I look back at the relationship or the friendship that we had, I do not feel sorry whatsoever. I actually wish I did worse to her, but that's besides the point. One day, I decided to come by her house. I think this day, my mom actually told me not to even leave the house. You know, when I look back at it, it's kind of good for my ass that this situation happened, because I should listen to my mom. Like I said, listen to your parents, because mama knows best. My mom used to always tell me, like, because she would work sometimes later in the night, not late in the night, but like she would come home around probably like 5-6 o'clock sometimes. So I would always come home early from school, and most of the times I would be like bored at home because nobody would be home at the time. So my mom would always tell me, like, you better not go over Annie's house. Like, I told you to cut that girl off. Like, you better not even go over there. But my ass did not want to listen. My head was odd, very odd. So I ended up going to Annie's house. She was there, I did bored, and I wanted to do something. Like, I just didn't want to be in the house bored, you know. I went to Annie's house and I just decided to hang out and, you know, chit chat with her. Well, at this time, Annie's mom was actually at the house as well. Another thing, her mom, Annie's mom, used to be sort of cool with my mom as well. Like, her and my mom would talk sometimes. Like, even after that situation where me and her fought, my mom told her like everything. Like, she told her, like, you know, your daughter fought my daughter over a boy. Like, she basically gave her the whole rundown on everything. So I was at Annie's house and her mother was there, and, you know, we were talking and stuff. And I think at this time something was happening, like something to do with Texas and Key and some of the boys in the neighborhood. Something was happening. I honestly can't remember exactly, because it was so many years ago. So much stuff has happened, so I don't remember what the conversation was about, but we were basically just talking about, you know, what's been happening in the neighborhood. I was telling her how I felt, telling her mother like how I felt about Texas and Key, they move and stuff, and like how I feel like they're very messy and like they're very sneaky girls, like they be doing a lot of stuff. I was just confiding in her as like a second mother, you know, the same way you confide in your mother and tell her like what's going on, what's tea, like all that stuff. I was basically doing that with Annie's mom, and we're all there having a good old conversation, talking about everything, and I don't think anything of it. Not even a week after I went to Annie's house and had that conversation with her and her mother, yeah, my phone starts blowing up. Like, when I'm saying people are texting down my phone, I'm getting notifications all through Facebook. I literally have to run downstairs to my basement to get on the computer and see what the hell's going on, because I don't understand why my phone is being blown up. When I take myself downstairs to go look on the computer to see Wagwan, I'm getting statuses on Facebook talking about, oh, when I see Asha is on site, I'ma beat her ass, blah 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 blah, I'ma do this, that. When I say threats, I'm getting threats.
Well,
Threats all over my timeline. I'm getting tagged in posts, like it's going down. So in my head, I'm like, what did I do now? I say my life was literally a roller coaster. Being in middle school, my life was not enjoyable for me at all. Like, it was literally drama every day, and if it wasn't in school, it was drama at home, it was drama in my neighborhood. I was just going through it. I was really going through it. So I'm getting tagged Texas and Key are tagging me in the post and making a whole bunch of statuses talking about how they're gonna do this and that to me, and how when they see me is on site. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like, what happened? I obviously respond back because I'm like, what the hell? Like, WTF, what is going on right now? Like, why do you guys want to fight me? Like, I'm not understanding. They end up telling me, or basically saying like, oh, you talk too much ish, like you talking too much ish. And in my head I'm like, what are they talking about? Then 2 and 2 clicked in my head, and I realized Annie and her mother set me up. They basically told these girls about the conversation that we had. Obviously, they did not tell them what they said, just pointed it all on me. So now these girls are thinking I'm there talking shit about them, and they want to fight me. This is when I realized I should listen to my mama. Listen to my mama and cut this bitch off from a long time. I should cut this girl off. Especially after we physically fought. Like, that should have been my time to cut this girl off. But no, I decided to be a friend and understand, you know, my wrongdoings. Because like I said, I know that situation was messed up of me for not, I felt kind of bad for not, you know, letting her know what happened, or letting her know actually, like, he actually liked me and he didn't really like her. But at this moment, I realized I shouldn't feel sorry for nothing. Her and her mother have these 2 girls trying to fight me. Not only that, they are blowing up my timeline. They have the whole of everybody on Facebook. Texas goes to my school, so it's not even like this is just a neighborhood matter. This is like school matter, because when I go to school, I'm gonna have to see Texas. The snakery was real. I was like, damn, like, these people really set me up. Like, these 2, and you as a big woman, you even getting yourself involved to even set me up. Like, now I know where Annie gets it from. So I'm going back and forth on Facebook now with these 2 girls. Like, I'm asking them like what was said, because I want to hear whatever Annie and her mother told these girls to get them so upset. They're just telling me like, oh, you have all this stuff to say about us, blah blah blah, blah. Just know when we see you is on site. And obviously I'm not gonna let nobody punk me, because I ain't no punk ass punk. So I'm not gonna let these 2 girls punk me on the internet and have me shook, because I really wasn't shook. I was more shocked that, you know, Annie and her mom did that, but I was not shook by these girls, because like, if I'm gonna have to do 2-on-1, like, I will do it. But you know, I had to definitely defend myself. So obviously now, because they're getting feisty on the internet, me, I forget feisty back. So I'm cussing back at them, cussing at me, I'm cussing at them. It gets so heated to the point where they're like, you know what, pull up outside. Texas and Key both lived in the area, so it was nothing for them to pull up. They really meant that, because next minute I hear all this commotion, like not even an hour after, you know, all of that on Facebook is going on, I hear a whole bunch of commotion outside my door. And I realized it's them 2 girls, and they decided to bring, you know, tag-alongs, and it was a whole bunch of other guys in the neighborhood that I did not mess with. Really, like, they're yelling at me, they're cussing, they're talking about, oh, how they want me to come outside. And I think at this time I ended up getting arrested. like I told y'all, middle school was not fun for me. Through a lot. So I ended up getting arrested because of a situation in the neighborhood. And I was supposed to be on good behavior. I was not supposed to be caught doing anything. Even after that's me getting arrested, I ended up fighting Annie. And even that night, I was kind of, you know, worried because, you know, like I said, I just got arrested for, you know, fighting and doing something I wasn't supposed to do. I was warned I have to be on good behavior so I don't get charges pressed on me. If I decide to go outside now and fight these two girls, I'm definitely getting charges pressed on me, or I'll probably go to juvie, who knows. I run to my mom's room and tell her like what's going on. It's like my mom's not understanding what's happening right now. She just want to know why all these girls and all these people are outside of her house, drawing all this attention to us right now. And I basically tell her what happened, and my mom was ready to fight herself. Like, she was ready to fight somebody. Like, she didn't even care. It was more so the fact that it was Annie and her mother that tried to set this whole thing up. And obviously my mom was upset with me because, you know, she done warned me already to stay away from this girl. But at the time, she just was, you know, protect mode. So when she heard it was Annie and her mother that set this whole thing up, she was ready. So I'm like cussing outside my window because, like I said, I'm not supposed to be in no fights right now. I'm supposed to be on good behavior. I already got myself in a fight like literally a month ago with Annie. I'm not trying to get in no more fights because, you know, I'm supposed to be on my best behavior right now. I'm telling them all types of stuff. Like, I'm being real feisty with them because, like I said, even though I can't fight right now, I'm not gonna let nobody punk me. So I'm cussing, my mom's cussing. Like, we're just going at it with these people, not backing down. Like, they're like, come outside, like, come outside and fight us. Like, they want to jump me at this point. So my mom's like, you know what, I'm gonna record this. So, you know, if anything happens, if they do anything, if they damage anything on our property, we will send it straight to the police. Here, recording them, like, she's recording everything. I think we had like a mini camera or something, so she was recording it and stuff. Going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And we're going back and forth for about a good, I would say, hour or so. I'm tired of cussing these girls. I'm tired. Like, I really want to fight them, honestly, because, like, I don't deal with disrespect. I don't deal with people talking to me crazy. I don't deal with that. After about an hour, somebody in the neighborhood ended up calling the police. They obviously hear all the commotion. They see what's going on. They hear the threats. They hear everything that's going on. So they call the police. Obviously, when the police come, everybody flees the scene. The police come to my house and they're just asking me questions like, what's going on? So, you know, I basically tell them what happened. I'm showing them the videos of like how they were acting and stuff. I think the police just basically just told me like, I just need to stay away from them, or like, I just need to stay out of trouble. And, you know, if they ever try to come back to the house, they will talk to them or arrest them, or they said something like that. I honestly don't even remember what exactly was said, but it's basically after the police talk to us and stuff, everybody dies out, and, you know, nobody's outside my door yelling anymore, and, you know, everybody's just gone about their business. See, it was still not done because, you know, people were on Facebook still worried about like what's going on, and still hyping up the fight because they still want to see a fight. But I just stopped responding at this point. I just deleted everything. Like, I was not even entertaining it no more. I just let it be what it be. Honestly, after this situation, I was definitely like, I was fuming, because to know that Annie and her mother caused all of this, yeah, I was heated. My mother and I took it upon ourselves to give them a nice phone call. Obviously, I didn't really say much in that phone call because, you know, I basically just let my mom do what she gotta do. I gave Annie's mother a wicked tongue lashing. When I say she cussed Annie's mother straight out, she cussed them wicked. You, big woman like you, getting yourself involved with young people. At the time I was 13. We were 13 years old. 13, 14-year-old people. And you're deciding to get yourself involved in young people beef at that and have people at our door. Like, no, you're not gonna get away with that. So she got the wickedest tongue lashing. My mom gave her a wickedest, like, when I say she cussed her nice and clean, you see. Oh, that is when I definitely cut my losses with Annie. Yeah, this friendship is done. It's finito, like finished. After this, there's nothing more to talk about. Like, the friendship is over. There's no rekindling. Like, me and you have nothing at this point. But y'all, when I tell you God is so good and God really protects his chosen ones, literally 3 weeks after Annie and her mom tried to set me up, Annie's mom ended up getting into it with one of her neighbors. When I say that must have been one of the most embarrassing fights I've ever seen in my life. When I say Annie's mom got her karma quick and swiftly, literally got in a fight with the neighbor, one of her neighbors. I do not encourage violence, especially violence against women. But this day I was actually like cackling, because after everything she did, I did not care what happened to her. The neighbor ended up punching her dead in her face, and she ended up hitting the floor, and her whole skirt rose up. Like, you could see her whole panty, everything underneath. Like, it was so bad. Like, and I think he ended up throwing like toilet water on her. It was so bad. Like, the fight was actually so embarrassing. Thinking about it, like, yeah, that fight was, it was very much embarrassing. But like I said, when I say karma is so real, how coincidental I had to come home at that time and witness the whole thing. This is the end of this video. This is the end of the story time. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please do leave your comments down below what y'all's thoughts are on this whole situation, and if you guys now understand why I did not feel bad when I found out the boy liked me and he didn't like Annie. As y'all can see, Annie was never my friend to begin with. She did not rate me. She was not loyal. She was a snake in the grass. I told y'all, like, she was never a real friend. And this is just another one of my stories where I really had to learn the hard way when it came to friendships. I always had to learn the hard way when it came to friendships, but this one was one of those moments where I definitely had to learn the hard way, because like I said, my mom warned me so many times to stay away from this girl and to just not talk to this girl again. And I continued talking to her, I continued hanging out with her until things just got to the extreme. The end of the video. I will see you guys in my next one. Stay safe and stay blessed. Bye.